Yo, what is up everyone? It's OJ over here from PlayerSense.com and welcome to another PE News segment. Today we've got some stuff on Nintendo NX. One of the sites that actually inspired me to get into video game journalism and get into media is actually shutting down in GameTrailers. And we also have Star Fox Zero potentially going through some development hell. So let's go ahead and get right into the first topic here. A Bulgarian studio named Kyodai wants to bring their game Project Elea, it might be Ella or Ea. They want to bring that game to PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo NX. The game is currently slated for PC only, and it has a really moody, atmospheric tone. It looks really cool. I'll be having a teaser trailer running for you guys right here in the background. And I just think that this game, if it was able to come over to NX, it just signifies that NX will be easy to port over games from PC, PS4, or Xbox One. And Nintendo needs more developers stepping up, obviously, and wanting to put their games on Nintendo NX. So any good news we hear about developers being excited about the platform or wanting to bring their games to the platform is good for Nintendo and good for the Nintendo NX. Alright, next we're going to move on to GameTrailers, one of my favorite sites back in the day that put up content all the time as far as video content goes. They did it well before YouTube. This was one of the sites that got me really into video game media, really into video game journalism. This is one of the sites that I first started watching and just listening to the guys do podcasts and all of that stuff. Shane Satterfield and all of them, man, like it's surreal that they're going to be shutting down after 13 years, but that's really what's the case. It's just hard because YouTube has taken just a big chunk out of what they used to do as far as owning that video content market, and YouTube content creators have just taken a big chunk, and I'm not sure if they've ever been able to recover from when YouTube got really huge, especially around 2011, 2012 or so. That's where a lot of people that used to go to GameTrailers started leaving the site. It also didn't help that they constantly were re-upping their website, completely wiping accounts and having to redo things. Like, people didn't know where stuff was. I remember that was a big confusion where a lot of people just left the site because they kept on redoing the site and revamping, and people just got tired of it. Also, the trolling with Michael Pachter. I mean, for a while it brought in hits and everything, but it got to the point where Michael Pachter was clearly just picking on Nintendo fans like relentlessly every single week, and I think a lot of people got tired of it. It got old to where he was saying the same thing, and I think a lot of people, Nintendo fans, probably left the site after that. So it's just a combination of things where GameTrailers kind of went wrong, and they just weren't able to keep up as far as with other mediums out there like Twitch that got started and YouTube and all of that. And I also think Shane Satterfield leaving was a big mistake. At least maybe he wanted to leave, or whether he was forced out of there, I'm not sure. But when he left, I think a large chunk of his fans or people who liked listening to him also left. The Invisible Walls podcast was just not the same without him. So it's unfortunate that GameTrailers is shutting down after 13 years, almost 14 years out there. But you know, they pioneered so much good stuff, and I wish the best of luck to all of those guys, and hopefully you guys all find jobs and be able to continue doing what you guys love to do, which is create video game content. Alright, and moving on to the last topic here, we have Star Fox Zero potentially in some development hell, and I have a little bit to say about this, but let's go ahead and get right into it first. So this is coming from Tamaki from Unseen64, Liam Robertson, and he talked about how he's heard from his sources that Star Fox Zero is having trouble passing Q&A standards at Nintendo of Europe. The motion controls just aren't working, and there's been some information to kind of back this up. Shigeru Miyamoto himself has actually came out and said, oh, well, it takes a couple days for people to get used to the motion controls, which is really weird because why would it take a day or two or even longer than, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes to get used to a Nintendo-made game as far as the controls go? It should be instant. It shouldn't take that long, and the fact that he said that just shows that this game is going to have some wonky controls for a lot of people if you opt to use the motion controls. Plus, there's also been the delay. The game was supposed to come out last year in November. They delayed it all the way to April, so a good 6 month, half-year delay. That shows that there's some major issues going on, and it's probably to do with the motion controls, because as far as the graphics go, they're obviously going with a simplistic approach. They can't do as much just because they're trying to do this whole gamepad thing with 60 frames per second, different perspective on the gamepad, 60 frames per second on the TV. Obviously that sucks up a lot of the power the Wii U has, and it actually shows in the graphics of the game. I do want to say a couple things on this just because I have some personal feelings on it, because I played the game quite a bit at E3 and I did not like the motion controls. I felt that the motion controls felt a little bolted on. And I think the main difference between a game like Splatoon that has the similar type of motion controls as far as using the gamepad for aiming and Star Fox Zero is the fact that it's two separate screens, and the fact that you don't have necessarily 100% control of your character, or in this case the R-Wing, at all times. The R-Wing is moving by itself because it's a rail shooter, so it's moving on its own, so therefore you have to juggle between it moving on its own, you actually moving up and down, left and right, and also having this second screen. It's just too much input or too much stuff going at one time, whereas if you're playing a game like Metroid Prime that uses motion controls, as far as Metroid Prime Trilogy on the Wii or even Splatoon, you are not moving at all times like you are in Star Fox and having to do a second stuff. Whereas those games like Splatoon, you control that character when he moves. He's not automatically moving, or she's not automatically moving herself. So it just creates a disconnect. In my opinion, it's kind of jarring. It just doesn't work 100% right. I know that there's some stages where it has like the walker, other things to where it's not like that, but as far as just the flying stages and everything, it just doesn't feel correct. Now this is a rumor, it's not 100% confirmed, but I would not be surprised if we did see another delay, which Liam actually says that that could happen, and I would not be surprised if people are having issues with the controls, just because, yeah, there are some issues there with the controls as far as trying to play this game when you're automatically moving, then you're trying to aim with the gamepad, then you're trying to see what's going on with the TV. It's just too much. I think the Star Fox experience should have just went with the Mario Kart 8 style, to where you focus on really good graphics, focus on the best online play that you can possibly do with the limitations of the Wii U, and you focus on just tightly knit controls in gameplay, giving people the option to play it obviously with different control schemes, like the Wii U Pro controller, possibly the GameCube controller, other controllers that they can support, and that's how it should have went. And I think Star Fox would have been less criticism and not be having these issues that it is having. But it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think about these potential delays coming up, or the potential issues with the quality assurance with the motion controls. Do you feel that Star Fox needs to have these motion controls? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'll respond to some of you guys like I always do. And please make sure you hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And also subscribe to Player Essence for more news, reviews, trailers, tips, and tricks. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and we will see you for the next news update. Peace.